Ahoy hoy, this is Michaela from Team Retro, where we like retro games and we like the devices that bring them to us. So here is the Valve Steam Deck, a device that I spent the entire month of February focusing on, and I've spent almost the entire month of March tweaking and filming and doing as much as humanly possible with this device so that I can do a final review after this device has been out for over a year. And I've had my Steam Deck since May, and ever since then this device has done nothing but gotten better over time, and it has definitely aged like a fine wine and is still an absolutely amazing device that not only has seen vast improvements thanks to Valve, but it has also seen phenomenal improvements thanks to the community and independent developers that just have a passion for this particular gaming handheld. So what you have is not only a device that is absolutely capable of playing PC games, but you also have emulation up to and including Nintendo Switch. So it's time to get this final review started, so grab your beverage of choice, let's dive in, and let's get to work. Alright, let's get on our mount and let's ride it on into Spec Town. Now we have a lot of specs to cover with the Steam Deck. And I'm not really a spec guy, so I'm not sure what all of this exactly means, but for those of you that are into specs and do want to get a device that will give you the most bang for your buck, here's what's under the hood of the Steam Deck. There's a Zen 2 CPU with 4 cores, 8 threads at 2.4 up to 3.5 gigahertz. The GPU is a custom AMD GPU. There's some specs on the screen for you, but it can get up to 1.6 gigahertz, and the APU power can provide 4 to 15 watts of power depending on your use case. There is 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5 onboard RAM, and you're starting with a 64 gigabyte hard drive for the cheapest model at $400, and then your storage options go up from there, being 256 and 512 gigabytes. If you opt for bigger storage, you will have an NVMe SSD for those sizes. I personally have the 256 gigabyte model, and I was able to put a 1 terabyte NVMe hard drive, which I showcased in a past video. And it wasn't that hard a process. I'll leave a link in the video description if you're interested in seeing that. Moving on, we have a 7-inch diagonal IPS LCD touchscreen, and if you do opt for the 512 gigabyte model, you will get a anti-glare etched glass screen as opposed to the regular glossy screen on the 64 and 256 gigabyte models. All screens have a 1280 by 800 pixel density with a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, and then you have the normal features like Bluetooth, dual band Wi-Fi, a 40 watt hour battery, USB-C with video out, as well as a headphone jack and stereo audio in the form of 2 front-facing speakers right on the face of the device. Now last month I did a video on the DBrand Killswitch case that I am exclusively using with my Steam Deck, and it comes with this front travel cover here, and for the last month or so I have been using this travel cover exclusively, and I kind of decided that I really didn't like it. Now, I like the rest of the vinyl skin as well as the case itself, but what I found was happening was the more that I was using the travel cover, the more that the vinyl started to peel off due to the strain of putting the cover on and off. So what I ultimately decided to do was go back to using the official Steam Deck case, which the Steam Deck does fit in there with the DBrand case on, but not with the kickstand. As you can see, there's a lot of strain on the case here, and it's really pushing down on the Steam Deck. So to circumvent this for the moment, I actually took the kickstand off, and if you do that, the Steam Deck fits in its original case just fine. However, you may see just a little bit more pressure than you're used to. You can actually push down on the case and click the L3 and R3 buttons, but other than that, this seems to be a pretty decent fit. And as far as the kickstand goes, I am able to tuck it underneath in the charger section of the case, and it seems to stay in there fine. I haven't had it fall out or lost it or anything like that. However, it is open, so there is a chance that that could fall out if the case gets strained over time. I did order another carrying case off Amazon, so I'll report back when that one comes in. Now, I did all my game testing after installing a program called Cryoutilities, so let me show you how to go ahead and do that really quick. We're going to start on the GitHub page, where all you have to do is scroll down and click download this link in the install section. You will have to right click it and click save link as, and then this will go ahead and download the installer program. And what you'll end up with is a program called install Cryoutilities.desktop. And it's a simple matter of double clicking the program to actually install it, which I've already done. So let me show you what you get once the program is installed. Now, you will have to enter your sudo password, which you'll need to create if you haven't done that already. And then you could see here you have two options: recommended settings as well as stock. So if we go through the swap, the memory, the storage, and the VRAM, you could see that if everything here is green, that means that Cryoutilities is working and it has optimized your Steam Deck. Now, you can also use this utility to sync your game data where it's actually installed, and you can go in and delete all the extra data for games that you may have uninstalled in the past, which is good for freeing up disk space if you need it. Now, setting the VRAM has to be done from the BIOS of the Steam Deck itself. You can't do it in Cryoutilities. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that really quick. Let's go ahead and power off our device, and then we're going to turn it back on, but we're going to hold the volume up button while we do it, and that's going to take us to the Steam Deck BIOS screen. And once we're here, we're going to navigate to the setup utility using the trackpad and the R2 button. And we're going to go down to advanced. And from there, we could change the UMA frame buffer size to 4 gigabytes. By default, it is set to 1 gigabyte. I had already changed this prior to making this video. So once we go ahead and set it to 4 gigabytes, we're going to hit the select button to save and exit, and then R2 button for yes, and the Steam Deck will start up again and bring us back to the main menu where the 4 gigabytes of VRAM are now being utilized. And these optimizations are going to allow us to have a much smoother gameplay experience for not just PC gaming, but also for emulation as well. So now that we've optimized our system as much as we could, let's get into some game testing here. Now, some of you viewers have requested I show off a few specific types of games. So if you requested a game, your name will be displayed on the screen, and the settings are also going to be displayed on the screen. But for the most part, I'm just going to stop talking and let the gameplay speak for itself.
This time, victory is mine. And the battle continues. Fight!
Now, I do need to speak a little bit on the Steam version of Chrono Trigger, because when I initially got the Steam Deck, I was only able to get so far in this game before it just completely crashed and I could no longer play it on this device, nor could I play it on my PC because I would end up with cloud sync errors. But it's amazing what can happen in a full year of updates and support, because now this game just works and I can drink soup or Skull Smash or whatever they're making me drink here. I love how in this modern translation, what was soup in the SNES version is now just straight up prehistoric alcohol. Now, one thing I did that I was never able to even expect to be able to do with the Steam Deck is I actually was able to download Clone Hero and plug in a Guitar Hero live guitar I got from my friend Jeremy, and I was able to turn my Steam Deck into a Guitar Hero-esque machine. So what I was able to do was I was able to not only get a whole bunch of tracks, but I was also able to get the performance mode videos from old Guitar Hero games, and I even found out that there was this program called Moonscraper that actually allows you to edit and create your own Guitar Hero tracks to be used in Clone Hero. So I ended up taking a cover of a song my buddy Dalton from the Steam Machine podcast did the vocals for, and I was able to turn it into a custom Clone Hero track. And I thought that that was really cool that I was able to take that song, put it into this program, and add and edit the tracks as necessary. And I did it all right on the Steam Deck. Moving on to emulation, we're going to start with N64 only because I was able to actually get Pokemon Stadium to work with full functionality because I was able to get it to read my old Pokemon Yellow save file. I'm going to do a tutorial video in the future on how to actually do this because not only is it really cool to be able to do this on an emulator, but all the nostalgia just started flooding right back in. And thanks to the enhancements provided by Cryoutilities, God of War 2 for the PlayStation 2 runs beautifully on this device, and I have to say, this is probably the first time since I started this channel that I've been able to emulate God of War 2 with no problems, and I'm just amazed to see that 60 FPS counter not really going down and having this smooth and sharp gameplay experience here.
What was that? This is Big Viper, T301. Commencing attack on the enemy.
Now 3DS emulation has also come a long way because there used to be a lot of hiccups and stutters in the middle of gameplay, but you'll see here in Pokemon Omega Ruby, when you first boot up the game and you go into a battle, you'll get a little bit of a stutter once, but then once you've done that one battle, if you go into another one, everything just seems buttery smooth, and we're playing at a 3x resolution, and I would consider this very playable, so Steam Deck could definitely be a Pokemon gaming machine. That said, Metroid Samus Returns also works really well on this device, and you can actually map some of the touchscreen controls to the buttons on the back, so you can actually switch beams right on the fly using the back buttons, but you can also use the touchscreen as well. The Citra emulator does have full touchscreen support. Even Switch emulation has come a long way on this device, so if you do have your legal backups of your game carts, there is a good chunk of the library that is playable on the Steam Deck. Now granted, emulation is not perfect because this is a more modern system, but it is better than I expected. You're not going to get the full library. Games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are still not playable on the Steam Deck, but there are a good chunk of games that, with minor graphical issues aside, they are very much playable. Now, you will get better performance if you install a plugin called Power Tools and you disable SMT. This will lower the system from 8 threads to 4 threads, and while this might not be great for PC gaming, it does wonders for emulation, and it actually does make for a smoother experience with this combined with Cryoutilities. Alright, let's dive into our commendations and condemnations when it comes to the Steam Deck a year later in 2023. And there are a lot of great things to say about this device. Specifically, let's start with the hardware and how sturdy it is. The build quality is good, the internals are good, and it's just an overall really good package. And this system plays a lot of games, whether it be through emulation or whether it be through PC games, through your Steam library. There is just a lot that this device could handle, all while being displayed on this beautiful 7-inch display that is actually just right to me. It does kind of hit a sweet spot when it comes to handheld game screens. Now, this device does have amazing community and company support as of this recording, so you're getting all these plugins and optimizations, and you're also getting software updates that continuously add new features straight from Valve. And so this device is just very loved and very supported, which just means over time things are just going to continue to get better. And although the Steam Deck is a bit on the pricey side, compared to other handhelds that are out there, you're getting a lot of power for the starting price of $400. And so if you're looking to play some of those beefy games or emulate some of those higher end systems with a little bit of tweaking, this device can definitely do it. And if you look at devices that have similar specs like the Aya Neo or Windows handhelds, you're going to find that those are a lot more expensive than this device is here. However, as much as I am raving about this device, it's not perfect, so let's talk about condemnations here. And we're going to start with the fact that this is a very bulky and not really a travel-friendly device. Depending on strength and hand size, you could find yourself getting fatigued over long play sessions, and this is definitely not something you want to play in bed. Now, even though this is cheaper than most devices with the power that this has, it's still not really budget friendly. So if you're looking for something on the cheaper end that's only going to play older video games, then this might be a little bit out of your price range, but it's also a lot more powerful than what you would be expecting in that circumstance. And then I'm going to throw in the obligatory battery life comment, although I have to say that battery life hasn't really bothered me all that much lately. And I think that's because of how I specifically use this device. I'm not really playing a lot of AAA games on it. I'm mostly playing older games, and PC games that are not as power hungry as something like God of War or Spider-Man. But if you are into those power hungry AAA titles, then yeah, battery life is not going to be what you expect. But if you are willing to make the initial investment, this device has a lot of potential to become your primary gaming device. It has a lot of support from third parties and communities, as well as Valve itself. And this is a device you can ultimately end up upgrading over time. But if you're not a tinkerer and you're not a big PC gamer, I can understand why this device, even at its $400 entry point, may give you some pause, because $400 at the end of the day is still $400, and you might not want to spend that much on a gaming device if you're only looking to play some older titles. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this your go-to gaming device, or do you have other devices that you use for retro gaming and gaming in general? And if you're on the defense on buying the Steam Deck and you're doing your research on YouTube, then hopefully this video helped sway your decision one way or the other. So let me know in the comments below if you've made a decision based on what you saw in this video and in my other Steam Deck videos. And stay tuned to the channel for future content on the Steam Deck as well as other retro gaming devices. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if this was helpful to you in any way, please be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, bye for now, and don't stop believing.